Okay, Grandpa, so what is this now?
You're going to be able to see it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the shock mitigation liquid spring or shock absorber. It's a magnetic shock absorber where you can through the magnet the fluids go through the magnet and you can control how much magnetism you want to know how much absorbers you want for the shock to take to protect the tube that has the missile in it.
Really? Now, what was this?
This is what I designed.
And you designed this whole thing?
Yeah.
And what was this? What vehicle was this on?
The Polaris submarine.
The Polaris submarine.
Here's the title right here. Can you read that?
Let me get a little shot at it. You stay right there. I'm gonna bring this.
Well, there's some other versions over here.
So this is the title?
Oh yeah, I see. It's over here.
Okay, I got it there. So this is spring assembly magnetic liquid vertical, huh?
Yeah, and there was horizontal too, but this is not classified.
Now, was this the?
These are the shock absorbers for the missile system.
And when
the missiles are all in a big tube.
You want to open that back up again?
Huh?
You want to open that back up again?
Yeah. What's that? Your phone?
Yeah, that's my phone. I'm ignoring that. This is way more cool.
That's just a parts list there.
This is all parts here and stuff.
Yeah, that's all.
So you have to come up with the whole. You designed this whole thing yourself from scratch?
Oh yeah, that's just part of it. I got all those other drawings of all the parts that go into that.
So when you did this, was this entirely your own project, or did you have a team?
No, we had a team, but we each had our own thing to design.
So this particular component, you designed this from start to finish on your own.
Yes.
That is way cool. Let's see the whole.
These are all the drawings of the different parts that go with it.
So let me see that again.
This I can't read this stuff in the dark, but you see the title there.
Yeah. So
Can you read it?
Oh yeah, we can see that. That's really cool.
All right. And then there's this one.
Hold on just a second here. I want to tighten this.
See, I can't see this stuff. That's the hell of it.
It's a body assembly orifice vertical.
Okay.
I don't know what that one is.
Well, it's one of the drawings, but I can't see
Okay.
what it is. Here.
That was another cylinder assembly vertical PFSTM liquid SPG. ILIQ SPG. That's the liquid spring magnetic vertical.
Yeah. Oh, hell, I can't see what I got here either. They're all drawings that go with it.
These are all your drawings. Let's take a peek at your big drawing here again.
Yeah, but I can't. I can't see anything. That makes it.
Now you're fine.
I don't even know what the hell. I don't even know what's on these sheets at all. I wanted to find the one that's got where I did all of the arithmetic on it, but I can't find it.
You want to open that back up for a sec?
Huh?
You want to open this back up?
Oh, I thought I had it open. Oh.
There you go. So this was your whole project.
Yeah, I had that whole thing from start to finish.
That's pretty incredible, Grandpa.
Damn, I wish I could read.
And this was when you worked for Firestone. This was not Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, this was all at Firestone.
When we're talking Firestone, are we talking the same company that made the tires?
Firestone Tire and Rubber. Government hired them to do this job for the submarine. And we worked, like I said, in Monterey, we had upstairs over the drugstore, Ordway drugstore, we had our That's where we did this job, and it was all top secret. Nobody even knew who we were or who we worked for or what the hell we did there.
And this was on Monterey. You were on top.
Monterey, right downtown Monterey.
And you're in upstairs building doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Did you actually? Were you part of Lockheed Martin at that time?
No, it wasn't. No, this is just Firestone.
Purely Firestone.
And then when we got this, actually got the part, these things built, these cylinders built, the real thing. Then we took them up to Hunter's Point. We mounted them on a model, half-size model of the submarine tube. When we did the shock tests up there in San Francisco, over at a special facility on the other side of the bay, where we did actual testing of this up there.
That's pretty incredible, man. And so,
another interesting thing about
here, we can
this.
sit down.
Another interesting thing about this is, well, you know, I worked on this for 3 years.
Well, when you
Another interesting thing about this is,
what's that?
when we about a month before they closed the place, a magazine came out. I forget where I put that to. Anyway, I had that someplace. And then there was an article about this, and it showed a picture of the engineer. Well, the submarine company took credit for this design, and they had this guy's picture in here, and he allegedly had designed this magnetic electric spring.
And you got all the diagrams.
He got all the credit.
And you got all the blueprints.
I did the job.
And everything's under your name, though.
Yeah, I'm the his designer. But there was another guy working with me. He was on another segment of it, the designing.
So now, did you work at You worked at Firestone before or after Lockheed?
That was before. I went from Aerojet to Firestone.
To Lockheed.
And then from there up to Lockheed.
So what'd you do at Aerojet?
Well, Aerojet, I designed for the missile system, their liquid missile system. I designed the small transmissions that they needed to run different parts of the.
Here, have a seat, Grandpa.
Of the engine. I designed the.
Why don't you sit down?
What the hell is it called?
Oh.
I gotta put this thing and fold this up.
Get
I wish
this.
I could.
You can leave that out for now, if you like. That's kind of a cool little
All right.
conversation piece right there by itself.
I just wish that. Anyway, this was. I'll tell you a secret about this design.
Yeah, what's that?
I couldn't figure out a way to design the magnet. Up here is the magnet.
Okay.
And how I could design it so the fluids would go. How the hell did that work? The problem was to design it so the fluids would go through the magnet. I don't remember what the hell the problem was now. It was a real big problem with the magnet design. Anyway, I got the solution in my sleep. And I got out of bed and I scribbled it all down on a pad that I had in the bedroom. And I took that to work and put it into her.
And bam, there it was.
Yeah.
So sit down for a sec.
Yeah, so anyway, this is a crazy thing too. You know, my life was kind of wild. I worked at Aerojet. They moved me from Minnesota out here in 1956. I worked there 1 year, and then one year, and then Firestone came up here looking for people to hire.
So
to
let me
take down to Monterey.
So let me answer this. So I'm going to get a little history from you, okay?
Yeah,
So you grew up in Minnesota?
yeah.
Okay, how old were you when you left Minnesota?
Well, I left there in '56.
Okay, 56.
I was born in '22.
Okay, and so did you go to any college or anything when you're back there? What was your education?
No, the only college that I got was the training I got in the Air Force, in the Air Corps.
And what year did you go into the Air Corps?
January '41, before Pearl Harbor.
So you went in the Air Corps.
And then after basic training, we were sent to Dallas, Texas, to Love Field, where went to an Air Corps college they had down there, and we graduated as aircraft engine and electrical and engine mechanics. And then if we graduated from there, we went to Luke Field in Phoenix. And I was working at Luke Phoenix as a mechanic on the ground crew, and I made crew chief and got promoted to buck sergeant. And then I went back to Minneapolis for a week's vacation, and while I was there, they hit Pearl Harbor.
Okay, so you were back. So you were before Pearl Harbor. You were in there then.
Yeah, I was in January before Pearl Harbor. So I was in Minneapolis visiting my Lorraine and her family, who I ended up marrying, and I got called back to the base when they hit Pearl. Got back to the base, and they had our government already knew that this was coming.
Yeah.
Because they built big concrete revetments all over the field in the desert.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got back, my crew and I had to take our planes that we were servicing, and we had to taxi them out and hide them behind these revetments because they thought we were going to get bombed at the field there.
Really?
So anyway...
what kind of planes were you guys working on then?
They were AT-6s and BT-9s, and they were for cadet training.
Okay.
And then we had a couple others, I don't remember what they were.
So when you got back after Pearl Harbor, what happened?
So then, we were there. I was only not there very long when they posted a bulletin that they wanted anybody who was interested in going to aviation cadet to make an appointment and take cadets, and if you're passed the tests, you would go to cadets. So I thought, what the hell, I'm going to try. So I was only 19, and I took the tests and I passed them, and they sent me to California to can't forget the field in Southern California. Anyway, sent me there for cadet.
Buell Air Force Base?
No, in Southern California.
Oh, in Southern Cal. Okay, I was thinking Southern Cal.
I can't think of the name of it. Anyway. I was in combat. I was taking the pilot training, first phase of pilot training down there. When the war was getting so hot, they wanted bombardiers and navigators to volunteers. They needed volunteers. So I quit the pilot training and volunteered to be a bombardier. That's how that happened. And so then I went through the bombardier training in Hobbs, New Mexico, and in November 10th of '42, I got my commission.
Where were you in bomber training? And what planes were you flying in the bomber training?
BT-9s, I think they were.
BT-9s, okay.
Anyway, when I got commissioned there, the next day, that was the 10th of November. The next day, that afternoon or evening, I flew back to Minneapolis, and the next day it was 11th. In those days it was Armistice Day.
Okay. That's
when Lorraine and I got married.
Okay.
On the 11th.
Nice.
So my birthday was the 8th. I got commissioned the 10th. I got married on the 11th. And then we were sent. They sent us down to the Air Force Base in Texas at Pio, and stayed there for the duration of the war. And then I was in the reserves.
Well, hold on,
then I got recalled for the Korean War.
So when did you do the B-17 training? Was that not yet?
The B-17 training, that was when I took the 3 phases there in Pio.
So is that when you were doing instructing and stuff then?
That's where I ended up instructing, yeah.
So then it was the Korean War after that?
Huh?
Then the Korean War came?
Then after that war, we finished the World War II, then I was in the reserves. Then the Korean War came along, and I got recalled for that, and I was sent down to the big base in San Antonio. What the hell, can't think of the names anymore. Anyway, Randolph Air Base. And so Lorraine and I and the kids, we all went down there. and we rented a house in San Antonio. And I got sent up to Waco, Texas to do a refresher course. And I passed all of the refresher courses, 100 on every test I took up there. And then we went back. After that, I went back, and then they sent us to Roswell, New Mexico, at the Strategic Air Command. And that's where I was under that colonel, what's it called, that dropped the bombs in Japan, Colonel Tibbet. Oh man, he had no time for us reservists. Boy, he was a hard-nosed son of a bitch. You wouldn't even want to talk to, you know. You reported in, and that was about all you ever got to do with him. So there I was flying in the nice pressurized airplanes, B-29s, and everything was pressurized. And
what were you doing in those?
Bombardier.
Bombardier still?
Yeah, and we had trays of food that we took and put them in an actual, in the wall of the plane, it was like an oven or whatever. You put your tray in there, and later on you had hot food to eat while you're on your flight.
So let me ask this.
So there we do, huh?
Oh, I was going to ask you, so out of your Bombardier career,
Yeah.
during all that, what was the funnest time you ever had? I mean, was there anything that really sticks out during that?
Well, some of the exciting times was when we were, see, the instructions were this: if you were going to take off and sent to go on a mission, and remember, we were going to carry the big bomb. We would get at least 2 or 3 hours in the air before, and we had sealed orders, so we don't know what our target is going to be. And at 3 or 4 hours out, they'd call us back. Then we never opened up to know what was in them. And that was what happened. Every flight, we never opened up our orders to know what our target was.
Did you ever hit
Never.
You never had to go out and hit a target?
No.
Okay, so you're always on call, but never actually hit a target.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then just want to recap really quick. You had mentioned earlier that when you were the bomber trainer on the B-17,
Yeah.
you became a trainer because during your exercises you were 100% on target?
That's why we became an instructor crew.
That's
yeah.
why you became the instructor, because
Yeah.
so you were so good they made you an instructor.
Well, yeah, because that's what made me so good was I designed that little piece that I put in the bomb sight scope, so I could, that little hole, I'd bring the hairlines for the target right back into that hole. As long as they were staying in that little hole, I hit the target right on the button every time.
So did anybody else use that, or was that strictly?
Oh, no, I didn't even tell anybody I had it.
Okay, that was your
My
own.
pilot didn't even know I had it.
That was your own little.
That was my idea and my secret.
And so describe that again. I want to hear that one more time. What you did.
Well, I measured the inside of the scope, which was about 2 or 2.5 inches in diameter. And then I went into town. I had the mechanic take a copper or steel plate about 1/16 of an inch thick, so it was stiff, and drill a hole 1/8 of an inch in diameter right in the center of it, and take a 1/2 inch brass tubing and braze it to that plate right over the hole.
How long was the tube? A couple inches or
It
so?
was just long enough so I could pull it back out.
Okay.
Because if I dropped it down in the sight, it would go. The plate would probably go back in 2 or 3 inches.
Oh, so
I
it was
would never been able to lift
so
it
it was
out.
recessed in
I had to
there.
use that to remove it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that would help you actually keep it pinpointed on the target.
That's what. Well, as long as I kept the hairs inside that hole, I was right on the target.
Wow.
At the time the bomb's released.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So then you continued with your bombardier career as a reservist then.
Yeah. Right.
And
But then I didn't expect the Korean War to come along.
And what'd you do in the Korean War?
That's when I went to Strategic Air Command.
Okay, that's where-
at Roswell.
Okay, and that's where you guys were on alert several
Yeah,
times, but
right.
never took mission.
Yeah.
And then what happened after? Where'd you go after that?
After that, I went home and I got out of the reserves.
And you stay out of the military at that point?
Yeah.
All right. And then
I had enough, and a good thing, because then it would have been Vietnam.
yeah, and then, so you stayed back there for a little while before you moved to where did you move to? Rancho Cordova, California, or what was it? Because you went to what was it? Who did you come to here? You moved here, Aerojet, wasn't it?
Aerojet, well, that was a, oh yeah, we moved to Aerojet in '56.
Okay. So anything happened between your reservist and Aerojet that was memorable?
Well, the jobs I had were great. Yeah, I worked, I was a tool and machine designer at Minneapolis Honeywell,
Okay.
and I designed automated machinery for the assembly lines. And one of the machines I designed replaced 15 women. These 15 women each had certain parts to put into this sub-assembly, and I designed a machine that fed all of these parts in and completed the assembly done by the machine. That was one of the things that I designed. And I had other tools that I designed that had to be made to manufacture other stuff. Then one of the guys that I worked with quit and went to work for Minnesota Mining in St. Paul. And he talked me into going over there and talk to them. So then I left Honeywell and went to work for Minnesota Mining, and I designed these tape slitting machines where you buy rolls of tape. I was designing machines the tape is made in a great big, about this long, a jumbo roll, about this long and maybe 3 feet in diameter. The tape, that's how it starts. And it's put in a saddle at the base of the machine. And then you take a metal bar, like your first sheet of toilet paper, you put a metal bar there, and then you strip this off and put it up onto the first set of rollers. Then the machine takes this big sheet of tape all up, and it goes through cutters and cuts it into the width, 1/2 inch or whatever.
Are we talking like masking tape?
I'm talking about masking tape, all the different tapes.
Okay.
But there's a different machine for each tape, because depending on the tape material, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rollers would take this tape up, it would go through the cutters, cut the tape for like a 1/2 inch or whatever wide, and then it would come out of the machine onto a long bar about that big in diameter. Well, not quite. It had to fit inside of the roll anyway, and all those rolls went. And then this metal tube was filled with a rubber bladder that it inflated and
expanded and held everything in place.
The surface of that bar was full of little balls, steel balls, and the inflator would put all these balls up to hold the rolls in place while it rolled all the tapes on. Then the other machine I was designing was the one was really tough one, was to cut the rubber black, what do you call it?
Electrical tape?
Yeah, electrical tape, yeah. And so then,
what question for you?
Yeah.
You mentioned, I thought you mentioned this a while back when we talked.
Huh?
With the tape, I thought there was something you said a long time ago where the rolls would separate or something.
Yeah, that was another thing that I had to do. I had to redesign some of the machines because as the tape was pulled up and rolled onto the cores, the bigger the diameter, the more tension would be in the tape. And so it came out and they were cut and packaged and sent to the hardware or whatever. But when they sat on the shelf for months, because of all that tension that was in there, the tape would gradually slip and would form a hump on one side where it had been shifted. And I had to redesign the machine so that the same, I put tension control in there so the tension, as it got bigger, the tension remained the same all the time, and it eliminated the humping.
And so you actually created the machine that eliminated that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then anyway, I got tired of driving the commute and all that stuff to St. Paul, so I went back to Honeywell. I went back to the machine designing there again.
And how long do you stay at Honeywell for?
Until I, let's see. was just there another couple of years, I think. I'm trying to remember the period, because in between there I was a fireman, on the Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul Railroad. I was a fireman.
Were you a full-time or a volunteer?
Well, I was on what they call the extra board,
Okay.
and I only worked when they were short a guy.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know whether I was going to work in St. Paul or whether I was going to work at the what the hell they call it, the house. I can't remember where you keep the engines, the roundhouse.
Okay.
If you got called to do roundhouse duty, that meant that night you spent 8 hours just going in the roundhouse from engine to engine to engine all night long, keeping the fire warm in there. So when the engineers took the thing out, he already had a fire in there.
Gotcha.
And then the other times where you got called, I had to go all the way. I drive to St. Paul and get on the engine, the steam engine, and fire it all the way to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Well, on one trip in the wintertime, we had to stop halfway at Wabasha, Minnesota, on the way.
So hold on,
we had to stop to fill up with coal and water.
So let me back up for a second. When you said you're a fireman,
Fireman, yeah.
you're not a fireman fighting house fires and
No, I'm on the
fireman
railroad.
on a railroad. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
Now I was starting to listen. I'm going, hold on, you're talking steam engine, the roundhouse.
Yeah, on the railroad, yeah.
Okay.
So we had to stop halfway.
So you
It was 100 and some miles to La Crosse.
so you actually ran steam locomotives.
Yeah, I had to do the firing.
So you weren't the engineer or anything.
No, the engineer was here and the fireman over here.
So you kept that fire hot and
Yeah, I had to do that.
did you have to like monitor the pressures and stuff? Was that part of your job?
Watch the water and all that.
Make sure it didn't boil or pop a boiler or something.
Exactly. Well, your ass chewed good if you did that.
So
anyway, when we got to Wabasha and it was cold as hell, it was in the wintertime, and I went up, we were right outside the door a few feet. There was a restaurant there. The engineer, he was called a hoghead. I was called a tallow-pot. He'd go in there, and what happened was the spout that you pull down to put into the water tank, the spout's steel, about that big round steel tube,
yeah.
and it's got on the top of the tube, it's got like a steel bar with a little ball on the top that you're supposed to stick that part down in the tank and hook it underneath the holes here. You stick it under here, so when you pull the hose and the water comes, this will stay. The water pressure hits there. It's going to keep that from coming out. Well, this particular time I didn't do it right, and the water hit, and that tube came out of there onto me.
Oh.
And my clothes were all and it knocked me onto the first boxcar, and all my clothes froze stiff because it was
so
like
cold.
below zero. And I never even got to go in and get a bite to eat or nothing, and I had to continue to fill it with water.
Oh.
And it took, I forget how many, like 20,000 gallons.
And you were frozen.
And I was frozen. That was some trip, I'll tell you. And then when we got to the end of the line down to La Crosse, Wisconsin, I didn't have enough money to go to a decent place to sleep. So I went to a place where they charged us 25 cents a night, and you never got clean bedding or a damn thing. and those days were tough. Sometimes I didn't even have the quarter. I had a sandwich to eat on the trip down there, Lorraine made. And then when I got there, I had no place. I'd slept on the bench in the goddamn roundhouse. I slept on the bench there. So it was some tough times.
So was it after the being a fireman that you went to Aerojet?
Let's see.
I'd like to find out how you ended up at Aerojet.
Yeah, we went to Aerojet, in 56.
And what did you, was there like a certain job you had been?
At Aerojet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was designing their transmissions for the liquid rocket engines.
So you went from doing tools and stuff and designing automated machinery.
Yeah.
And you went into weapons.
After I left, I was designing machines at Aerojet. And I went into this at Firestone.
So what machines were you designing at Aerojet? What were the machines for at Aerojet?
The Aerojet I designed what they call transmissions for the liquid rocket engines.
And what
They
was
had
the
certain things that had to be driven, and they needed transmissions, and I designed those.
And what did your transmission actually do? What was the purpose of it?
Well, I don't remember. There was different ones to be. The engine's too complicated. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Too long ago.
All you were concerned about was that transmission.
Yeah.
They needed a design
to fit a certain thing that it was going to, like your car transmission.
Yeah. So you didn't worry about the engine or the rear end. You were just your job. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did that. That's what you did at Aerojet. Then from Aerojet you went to Firestone, and that's when you did this.
When we did this.
Okay. And so.
And then I went to Lockheed from here.
So was this your big design at Aerojet, or did you do anything? Firestone?
Yeah.
So was there any other projects you worked on for Firestone, or was this it?
No.
This was your big project. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And how long did this project take? You said 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah, well, to design and build and test.
And just to recap, you stayed in the top of, you're on the second floor above
a drugstore.
A drugstore.
Ordway Drugstore in Monterey.
And that's Monterey, California. Nobody knew you guys were up there.
Nobody knew what we were doing.
How many people you think
It was all top secret.
How many people are on the project up there, you think?
Oh, I'd say maybe there was 20 of us.
20. And you have to go like through security or anything, or you guys just
we were just
so low key,
like
like you're just up there reading books.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. Nobody knew we had our own entry.
Gotcha. And then
and some of the guys are they come to work in shorts even.
Yeah. So there was just that low key, that top secret.
Yeah.
So once you left, this was at Firestone. Then you went to Lockheed.
Right.
And what did you do at Lockheed?
Lockheed. Lockheed. I designed. We did a lot of the spy satellites.
Yeah.
And we did the Hubble.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I guess we were at. You moved to You went to Lockheed. And what year was that you went to Lockheed?
1960.
So that was 1960.
Yeah. I was there till 87.
And you worked on the Hubble project?
Yeah, not only the Hubble, we designed the whole Hubble, but we designed a bunch of these spy satellites. That was all top secret stuff. And we designed...
Can you say who we're spying on?
Huh? No.
No?
I don't know if I can even talk about that today. I don't know. I'm sure they knew by now they were doing it. They talk about these satellites all the time.
Yeah.
And then we designed and built all the insulation tiles for the shuttle.
And when you're saying the shuttle, what shuttle?
Huh?
What shuttle are we talking about?
The one that they flew for years.
The actual space shuttle?
Yeah.
So you worked...
We designed all the tiles to cover the whole shuttle for the heat insulation for re-entry. Anyway,
hold on a second here.
The entire plane was covered with those, and
So do you work in the wind tunnels and stuff?
We went over to the wind tunnels at times, but there wasn't one tile on that plane that was identical. They were all different shapes and thicknesses to cover the whole airplane. I keep hoping maybe I'll run into somebody I worked with.
Can you show me the jacket? Can you hold that jacket up?
Anyway, twice now there's been...
You just kind of put it right in front of you there.
Huh?
Yeah, there you go. Flip that bad boy around.
Oh,
And that's the Hubble telescopes, the Hubble Space Telescope from NASA.
right.
And can we see your name on it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, flip that around.
What do you want me to
Your
do?
name on the front doesn't it have your name and stuff?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I just said something else on there, I thought. Yeah, okay, just Lockheed Gordon. Okay. Yeah, I just thought Gordie.
yeah.
Okay, I just thought that was cool.
Uh-huh.
So you got everybody on the Hubble program got that.
They gave us, that's why we got our name on them.
How many people were on the project with you?
Oh, I don't know. Hell, that was a big project. There because you had there was the design group and the liaison group and the check group and then the shop. There was hundreds of them on that.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
And your whole job was the tiles.
No, well, no, that was just one of the projects we did. Like I said,
And the tiles are just for the re-entry, so it wouldn't burn up.
that's all we did for the shuttle was the tiles.
And what else?
All the other jobs were, like I said, were the space satellites.
Yeah, the satellites and stuff.
Yeah, because those were being, something new was required there all the time.
So you do anything else?
Matter of fact, those, see, which part was it?
So we got the actual space shuttle that you did. We got the Hubble and multiple spice satellites.
Oh, yeah, and then we did the shock mitigation for the other submarine. What the hell was the name of that one? We had Polaris, and there was one more. We did that one at Lockheed.
Really?
I can't remember the name of that submarine now. Oh, that was another thing that was interesting. We had, every once in a while I have a problem I try to work out a solution to. Well, I'd get an idea and think, geez, I wish I could do that, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, working at Lockheed, sometimes you had to go over to different places on the plant to deliver something or do something. and it would be several buildings away, so you had to drive your car over there to do it. And the boss would give you a gate card to use, so it would unlock the gate, you know, like you could do that out here.
Yeah.
You put that on there and it opens a gate. And so, but then when I come back, I'd have to return that to the boss. He's the only one that had one. So one Friday, I had to do that trip, and he wasn't there. When I took that thing home with me for the weekend.
Yeah.
Then I thought, what the hell, I'm going to make one of these for myself. So I took a piece of cardboard and cut it out the same size from a cereal box. Cut out the cardboard the same shape and size as this card. And then I laid the card on top of the gate pass, and then I sprinkled iron powder on the top of that, and then I put a magnet under it, and that magnet put all of this powder on the circuit. And then I ended up taking pieces of metal, a tin that I had cut up, and put in all those, glued them in all those little spots I had my own pass.
You copied it that way?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I could do that for any gate pass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They just,
So and then Monday I gave him back his pass. After that I had my own.
did he know you'd made one?
I know, hell no, I didn't tell him. You know, it was like my secret with the pinball machine. I never told him about that either.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah. So and then one of my railroad trips, we had to go up. One of our trips was up to northern Minnesota, to Duluth, to pick up several cars of iron ore. And I mean, they're heavy, so you wouldn't have 100 of them. But anyways, a hell of a load. Anyway, and the engineer I had, I never knew who the engineer was going to be. This time I happened to have a hot-headed Italian, and I mean, he had a reputation with firemen. And so anyway, we were coming back with a great big load of iron ore. And I didn't notice I had gotten the water up. Well, we had an engine that was kind of faulty, you might say, or fussy. And I had got the water a little too high in the level, and it started losing power and so forth. And he chewed my ass, and I said, if you don't knock it off right now, I said, I'm going to jump off this goddamn engine, and you could take it in alone, I said. And then I never had to fire for him again.
Oh, that's funny.
But I'm telling you, I've had some crazy experiences.
And did you? Yeah, I remember talking to you one time. You were talking about your. I think it was a stringer. You
haven't seen the fish stringer?
No.
Oh, I got it right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you got it. Grab it, bring it over here and tell me your fish stringer story.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a patent on it too.
Yeah, hold on, don't sit. Yeah, you tell me about that when you get over here.
I think.
Yeah.
This is the bag that we packaged them in when we sold them.
So this is your fish stringer that
Yeah,
you invented and patented.
Yeah, I had a United States patent. Now I'm going to show you mine. And what happened was this clamps on the gun rail of the boat, and this goes down in the water.
So this is down in the water.
And then when you catch a fish,
So this piece here goes in the water.
and when you catch a fish, you put them on this, hook them on here.
Yep.
I gotta get the first one, and then you drop
Just
this hook and
slide
put it
down
down
and
in
it
and
just
keep them in the water like
And
that.
bam, and it can't go any farther down because of that.
Yeah,
And it's
So-
a high quality cable.
right,
This is-
aircraft cable.
This is
And this
crimped
is-
on there,
And this is the all aluminum clamp
so that can clamp right onto your
on
boat.
the boat, yeah.
And then
Then you just peel these off as you catch your fish.
and how many does that got on there? It looks like
Well,
quite a few.
this one I made special for myself. I think it got like maybe 10 or so.
Is that because you catch a lot of fish, or is that
No,
not very
no,
many?
I figured I'd be entitled to more. Well, I don't have the other one. I wanted to show you the counterfeit, the one that copied mine. I can't. I thought I had it in here.
Oh, you have?
This is the bag. I can't even see anything. They have printing on there. It says Dakar on there. And to show the stringer.
Yeah, Dakar.
That was for Damon and Carlson. And I gave the patent to Carlson when I left Minnesota, so he and a guy that had a machine shop could continue to make them and sell them.
Really?
But anyway, what happened?
They still make them just like this, or?
Not anymore. Because they're not alive anymore. Those guys. But anyway, I had a guy come from a big fishing tackle company in Wisconsin. Saw this on the market and came to see me in Minneapolis to one weekend. He flew down to work. He could work out a deal with me to sell, to manufacture them, and they'd pay me a royalty. So I made an agreement with them to pay me a certain percentage on every one they sold. And what happened was about a month later, he called me up and he said, because I showed him my shop in the basement.
Yeah.
And I put these together in my basement. I had a punch press and drill press and everything, rod bender. I had all that stuff. And I
So you made
them-
everything from scratch.
Except they had to have this stuff made.
The vice part?
I had to buy these, and I had to buy these. I had to buy, but I had to assemble it, you know.
Okay.
I had to assemble this and that. But anyway, he called me up and said, I saw your shop in the basement, and he said, you just got a small operation there, and he said, we're just going to go ahead and make them and sell them. We're not going to honor the agreement. So I took mine. Oh, I went to later on. I found that they had making them, and I wish I could find it and show it to you. A piece of cheap shit, but it does the same principle. Anyway, I finally found one at the hardware store. They were selling them for less than I could make this.
Yeah.
And so I took one of those and mine, and I went down Minneapolis to the patent office, and I told them my story. And so I had a patent at that time. So I left it with them, and they said, come back in a month. Month later, I come back, this is your government crap again. I come back in a month, and they said, we're sorry, but our budget's so weak right now, we can't do anything about it. You'll have to bring a civil suit against them yourself. Well, I couldn't fight a big corporation. I was working for $1 an hour, for Christ's sake.
So you bought the vise.
Yeah.
Did you put this in the vise, or was this?
No, I had to drill and put that part together.
So-
I had this cast, that's all. And then I had the rod, I had to bend it and form it.
So did you insert the rod into there, or was this all cast together?
No, I had to put, all I had was the clamp. I had to put this together and this together.
Okay, so you actually
And
you have to drill this out.
Yeah, and I had to bend this.
Is that where you?
Use a rod bending machine to do
Okay,
that.
what's this part right here? Is that where you stake that into there? Or?
That's what I staked it in, yeah.
Okay, so that holds this from sliding back out,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Okay.
Right.
And you actually put this piece on?
Yeah, this, yeah.
Okay.
And I had to put that in there.
Did you drill this part out so you put the cable in there?
Yeah, yeah, and I had a big punch press and drill press, and then
What about this
I had
piece?
to put that on the cable.
Did you make this piece or you buy this piece?
Ernie, he was a machinist, he made them.
So he machined those out?
Yeah.
And these you bought though?
Right, right.
None of this you made?
No.
That was, okay.
No. Let me get a couple of minutes to see if I can find the one, and I think I might find it out in the garage, that piece. I'd like to show you. He was selling them, these things for me to the guys at work. I was only getting like $3 or $4 for one of these.
And how much it cost you to make them?
No, that's what I was selling them for.
No, but what did it cost to make?
No, I don't remember. This is 1949. I can't remember that stuff. Some of the things I can remember well. Other things I kind of stumble on. But it's been an interesting run, I'll tell you. Yeah, I can imagine. I've been retired longer than I worked at Lockheed. I've been on pension longer than I worked there.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I worked there 28 years and retired in 87, 97, 107, 17. Over 30 years I've been on pension.
You said what year?
87.
87, 97, 2007. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. 32 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. That ain't a bad thing.
No. So they've been good to me.
And you're 96 now.
Yeah.
And your birthday is when?
November.
November?
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's another thing that you talk about frustrating. I talked about the driving. Another thing that frustrates me, I always like to go, like for birthday cards, I always wanted to go to the store and pick out a special card for special people. Now I can't even do that. I can't get there to do it. So I have, I have a lot of birthday cards, but I have to send one of them. So it's the shits.
Yeah.
But then I guess at my age you can't expect more.
I think you're doing awesome.
So,
I've enjoyed my time with you this weekend.
Well, it's been great.
So.
Yeah, and look at all the help you did for me and all the things you did and all the meals. It was really a great trip.
Well, I had a fun time and enjoyed sharing my drone with you.
Yeah.
The technology there. Kind of nothing compared to the technology you'd worked with by no means, but.
Well, next time I'll trip, I'll have found the other one to show you.
All right.
I'll be looking for that this week, first thing. Yeah.
I look forward to coming down and seeing you again.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could. Yeah.
You're a wealth of information. The stories you got are amazing.
Yeah,
your story about almost falling out of the bomber door.
Oh God, that was a frightening.
That scared the hell out of anybody, man.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're looking down at the ground, 22,000 feet away, and you gotta have a parachute.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, I'll tell you, I was holding on.
You're hanging on for dear life. You're actually flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
Hanging onto that rope.
And hung by one arm.
Jeez. How long do you think you were that way before they got you?
Well, I don't know, a few minutes anyway.
Oh, was that long?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, because he had to yell to get another gunner up there to help me, and he had to come around that gunner to get to the nose where I was.
So it wasn't just like 5-10 seconds.
Oh no, it was for minutes.
Oh jeez.
That's why I said the next day I was still shaky.
But you went back.
But that's a weird look through the bomb bay down to the ground from that altitude. It's a strange feeling to know what predicament you're in.
Yes.
But I didn't know when we went to lift the bomb, that was going to generate down and knock my foot off that step and trip the cable.
When would you normally open the bomb door?
You don't open them until you're going to start a bombing run.
But
then I do it from the nose of the plane up where
you're not standing over that door.
No, I'm straddling the door.
When you're bombing.
Well, no, when I'm bombing, I'm in the nose of the plane.
That's what I'm saying. So
and the doors are open.
So the whole time you're back there, the door's supposed to be closed.
Until we got to start our bombing runs.
And at that point...
No. The doors were open.
Okay.
And we were starting our bombing run. And when I said bombs away, the bomb site said the bomb's gone. But the bomb never left. So we didn't drop it. So then we had to close the doors to go back to remove the number one bomb.
Okay. So you were repositioning one.
Yeah, we had to try to remove the one that didn't release.
So normally you're not back there doing that. Normally you're not back there working around that.
No,
like
I'm never
that.
back there. Never. I get on the airplane and I get in the nose of the plane and I'm there the whole time till we come back.
So so you guys had a malfunction of the bomb.
In the bomb bay, we had malfunction was the bomb wouldn't release.
Okay, I see. I thought. Well, you were telling me the story. I thought this is something you guys like grab this thing and drop a bomb.
Oh no, we were trying to take it off and replace it so we could drop the next bomb.
Okay, so when those bay doors are open, nobody's standing over it.
Oh, there's nobody in there.
Okay.
Everybody, when those doors are open, everybody's got a position. The bombardier, pilot, co-pilot, navigator, and the other side, the bomb bay, the gunners.
And what plane was that one? That was a
B-17.
That was a B-17.
Yeah.
That's the Flying Fortress, right?
Right. That was the best airplane they ever built for war. Those things came in with half the tails gone and parts of the wings gone and engines gone and everything, still made it back.
And
full of holes and everything, still made it back.
So you had engine fires while you were...
Oh, we had that in training, yeah.
In training, you
At
lost
least
it.
12
You lost
times
an
we
engine
had.
one time.
Yeah.
All during
Oh,
training.
I'll tell you, that runaway prop was right beside me. That's the second inboard engine.
Yeah.
It's right here. The prop's right here, and it's spinning like hell.
Oh,
free.
just cut right through the plane,
And
huh?
I'm thinking if it comes off and it comes through, I'm gone. Well, the whole plane will be gone because.
Yeah.
But it just kept. Normally they have a system to shut off a runaway prop, but it didn't work. And so we were stuck with it. We got back to base as quick as we could. We had to turn around, but as soon as we hit the ground, man, it fell off.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a scary ride, though.
So, was that probably the scariest time in your career? Was the prop and the bomb bay door opening up?
Yeah, that was it. You bet. I would never want to do it again. I'll tell you.
Wow. See, when you told me the story, I was thinking you guys are normally back there doing stuff. And
No.
That's why I was going, well, you're standing there. I didn't realize that that was a very scary situation. That door opened up while you're there.
Exactly when I went to lift the bomb.
Yeah.
The doors are closed.
Yeah.
I went to lift the bomb and we put it over here on this empty shackle.
Gotcha.
And as soon as we did this, my foot went over and tripped the door open. And then, of course, I'm just hanging there like this.
How come the other guy didn't get into you had one other guy on the other end of the bomb, right?
Yeah, he was going to take care of the tail, and I'm taking care of the nose.
How come he didn't get sucked into the air or anything then?
Well, no, because he's standing up on there. I'm the one that had to get down inside to get to the nose of it.
So he's higher up.
He's standing up on the catwalk where he can grab all he has to do is grab the tail fin.
Gotcha.
And I had to get down in the bay.
Okay.
To put my arm around it.
And lift it up.
I mean, my arm in the air and lift the bomb this way.
So
when I did that, my foot hit the cable.
So where'd the bomb end up at?
Well, it stayed there. We couldn't
didn't drop it.
We had to go back to base. We couldn't finish the mission.
So he didn't. I was just making sure the bomb didn't get dropped out the bay or anything like that.
It never got dropped. Then when we get back to base, we had to report it so the guys that load the bombs could fix it.
Was that a live bomb?
Well, they're live, but they're only they're not like you drop in the war. They're a smoke bomb.
Is that what
so
they are?
when they explode, the big puff of smoke comes out to see where your bomb landed.
So it doesn't have the big charge in it.
No.
Okay.
No, just a big white smoke charge.
But
And it's full of sand, that's all.
so
100 pounds of sand.
so it simulated the real size, the weight and everything.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
just didn't have the big detonation to it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many bombs do you think you've dropped like that?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
And so
So I'll tell you one thing. You talk about sad stuff at that base where we were taking our training, just before we got to be instructors. No, it was after we became instructors, because this guy was also an instructor pilot. He was a captain. He went going out the airplane one morning to go on a training flight. He had just gotten married a week before, and he walked right through the propeller
what?
while it was going.
On purpose?
No, I mean, he just didn't realize where he was.
Oh, geez.
He's going to get into the cockpit. You see, on the 17, the gunners all got it way in the back, near the tail of the fuselage.
Yeah.
There's a door where all the gunners got in. The navigators and the pilots, we all got in right under the nose, just a little bit back from the nose. There's a door there. We'd open that door and we'd reach up and we'd pull ourselves up inside. And that's, so the engine's going right here and he's going to walk in to get into this door. And he walked right into the prop, not realizing, maybe he was thinking about his wife or something.
Wow.
He just walked right into it.
Did you see it happen?
Oh, I didn't see it. No, I'm glad I didn't see it.
No.
I wasn't out there that day even.
So he wasn't a guy you flew with in the plane, but he was part of your guys' flight crew.
Right. He was another crew captain.
Yeah. So when you guys went up, how many B-17s went up together usually?
Huh? How many?
Yeah, how many in formation normally?
Oh, well, we didn't do much formation flying. When we did, we didn't do more than, I think, 5 or 6.
Okay.
It wasn't...
Nothing like the big runs or
anything. The main
anything.
thing there was to practice bombing and practice navigation.
Gotcha.
They'd give us a navigation flight, 5 to this city and this city and this city, and then back to the base, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't do any, wouldn't do any bombing at all, but still the whole crew went. The only time that I didn't go up was when my pilot was going to do a instructor pilot another crew.
So did you ever do like the belly gunner or any of that stuff?
I got in there a few times just to see what it was like. So I'm glad I wasn't a ball turret gunner. I wouldn't like that.
Were you too big in a sense for that position?
No,
or were you about the right size?
it's like, it's too...
It's very claustrophobic in there, right?
Yeah, well, it's what do you call it? It's like being claustrophobic kind of a feeling.
Yeah,
You're
in that little capsule. Once you turn, you're in there, huh?
Yeah.
Once you're...
Yeah, you get in there and then you can, move it around. So you move the guns up and down and back and forth.
Did you ever shoot any of those?
No.
Just got in there just...
I had my own gun up in the nose.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you not only were the bombardier...
Yeah, it was a gunner up there too in the nose. Oh, I shot we did a lot of target shooting.
Yeah.
We shot at targets that were being towed by a small plane.
Weren't you good at that also?
Huh?
Weren't you good at that position also, the shooting part?
Oh, you got to yeah, and then we got to shoot. We did low flying in certain areas where all ranch land where there were targets, and we'd shoot at targets on the ground. Maybe the next mission we were shooting at targets in the air that were being towed. But that damn gun is so heavy. Of course, it had a cable on it to help support it, because that son of a bitch, when you unhooked it, man, it was all I could do to hold it even.
What caliber was that?
50.
That was a 50?
I got a 50 caliber bullet in the closet.
Yeah.
Souvenir.
Nice. That was from your plane?
Yeah.
Can you show it?
Huh?
Can you show it? Or is it hard to find?
No, I'm trying to think. It's in the closet, but I don't remember where.
Yeah, if you don't know where it's at, no biggie.
Yeah, I don't remember. And I got a Air Force 45 in there too, bullet.
Yeah. So.
I think my dog tags are with it too. I don't remember where that is. I get so much shit, it's unbelievable.
So how many different B-17s did you fly in, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Different planes all the time?
Well, yeah, we were just given the plane number so-and-so. We never knew which one we were
Yeah,
going
what
to
was the famous one, the Enola Gay or whatever?
Oh, no, we never have any names on ours.
Nothing like that.
No.
So you never
No,
had.
we just went out. They'd say, you got plane number so-and-so. Then we'd go out to pre-flight it. We'd have to, by hand, we'd have to run the props through to lubricate, move the oil.
Yeah.
And then we had to, everybody walked around to see if there was anything wrong with the ailerons and elevators and stuff. Hey, we had a lot of saboteurs there. On one time, we went out to check, and somebody had a screwdriver or something, had a whole bunch of holes in the elevators on the back of the plane.
Why would they do that?
Another time, they had to punch holes all through in the elevators. And I mean, we never caught the people doing it. Oh, here's one you ain't gonna believe. Talk about close calls. We always wore a chest pack parachute. Because we were sitting in a plane and doing a bombardier,
Yeah.
you can't sit there with this big backpack on. So we had the chest pack. So before every flight, before we went to the plane, we went to check out our parachute.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the parachute department and we pick up our parachute. And then when you unbutton the flap where the cable goes, the cable goes in there like this. It goes in through 2 or 3 rings, You open that up to see that the cable's in position, and what happened was that they had fixed the cable on mine, so you couldn't. When you pulled it, the chute wouldn't open. And another occasion, I went to get a parachute, and somebody had injected it with acid, and there was nothing but powder in there, and I didn't even know it till I got back.
What?
Yeah.
Was that common?
Well, I don't know how common it happened to me twice.
Wow.
And that's in the States.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking that somehow, we had a lot of prisoner of war from Germany on that base. They were gardeners most of the time. And I was trying to think of maybe somehow they,
Getting out there.
I don't know where they slept at night or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were jailed or any damn thing, because all day long they're out there working around the building, cutting, mowing and all
Yeah.
that, and they didn't have no guards with them or nothing. And I'm thinking maybe they're the guys that are doing it. I don't know.
Wow.
Never heard if anybody was caught. But that one where the parachute was nothing but powder, boy, that was frightening.
Yeah, that's.
And then the other
that's
one where you couldn't open it, couldn't pull the cable out. So that takes some doing. And how the hell would they get into the parachute department to do that? There's always somebody working there, I would have thought.
Yeah.
So maybe it was one of the guys working there.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
So
what's
the
going on.
sabotage on the planes and parachutes and when I forgot, I went to my first phase of combat crew training was we sent to Davis Mountain in Tucson, Arizona. And we were in B-24s taking our first phase of training. And one day there was about 30 of us all lined up with engines running, ready to take off. And the first one off the ground, he got about 30 feet up and he blew all to hell. Exploded, just blew the plane all to hell. So all the rest of us were grounded.
Yeah, I hope so.
They found out that the fuel had been sabotaged at our base, and that was some kind of the fuel was sabotaged such that it caused the plane to blow up when they started off.
Wow.
So that all had to be taken care of too. But you never hear about this stuff, in the news. These things that happen.
That's kind of scary, something like that.
Oh,
happening
yeah.
on base.
Yeah. So.
You've got a lot of cool stuff that you've seen and done.
Yeah.
And so out of Aerojet, Firestone, and Lockheed, which one did you enjoy the most?
Oh, I enjoyed Lockheed the most. I liked the work.
You did more work with. Yeah, you did a lot of work with them.
It was so challenging too, and we knew what the mission was all about, which made it more interesting.
Yeah. So you did this with no college, no engineering degree.
No, just self-taught. Yeah. I taught myself everything except, I taught myself all the way through trigonometry and that, but I never could manage calculus.
Yeah.
But I had all that schooling in the military.
But it wasn't really the level of schooling that brought you to your engineering and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Did that push you to that point, or?
What?
The schooling you had in the military, did that actually?
Well,
Oh.
yeah, because I had all that training in aircraft engines and mechanics and instruments.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And you just carried that over.
yeah.
Nice.
And then, of course, after the war, I did some, you could get some free schooling. So I went to Minneapolis Institute of Art because I liked to draw and paint,
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're very artistic.
So I went there for a couple of years. Then I couldn't finish any more of that because I having a hell of a time, making a living.
Yeah.
So I didn't graduate from that, but I went on after that and did the, painting the glasses and stuff. No, people looked at those glasses. They thought that they were decals I had bought and glued on there. But after I painted them and they were dried, and I think I told you, I took a brush and covered them with a clear varnish, and then I put them in the oven and baked them for about 20 minutes to have it
harden out.
But they were never put in, never used to drink, and never washed anyway. So they held up okay. The paint was a Chinese lacquer, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Had these little jars of it.
Well, we're trying to find those. Shelley really wants to see them, so.
Well, they've got them. Whether they ever unpacked them or not, I don't know. I would have thought the first thing she would have done was put them in the china closet. The second thing, I thought she'd have called me and thanked me. Never heard a word. There was nothing I didn't even think about it until we were talking about it, and I mentioned it to you.
Well,
Otherwise, I just
did
assumed.
Joe take the mirror and put it in the house and take the box and leave it in the garage, I wonder?
I don't know. The box is maybe about that long and about that wide, much like a shoe box, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like 5 or 6 glasses about that high.
Like a tumbler?
Drinking glasses.
Yeah.
Regular drinking glasses.
Okay.
Except I had not all of them, but most of them I think had the gold rim on the top.
Like a
little
like
gold.
a 10-ounce glass or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I wish the hell I'd have kept at least one of them.
Well, yeah. Well,
I would have if I thought that was going to happen.
yeah, if we run across them, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I sure hope you get to see them.